We both grew up in Ohio. I grew up in Cincinnati, and Katie grew up in Cleveland. And so we've spent the last 10 years traveling full-time behind my music, and then a nonprofit that Katie runs. My music is original music. I have 15 instruments and a looping pedal, and do live looping, acoustic soul music with passion and purpose. The nonprofit is called Journey for Youth, and I'll let Katie explain that because she does such a great job at it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we are travelers, and we just kind of try to connect with communities wherever we are. So we always had visions and dreams about being in Africa. So in 2010, we did a backpacking trip around the world, but our ending spot was Kenya, and we lived with a host family for 3 months. We worked on their farm and just volunteered feeding kids lunch. And at the end of that time, we knew that we had to stay committed to these people that we had met and fallen in love with. Oh, no. And we've been working with the same families in the same community since then. We went to all their homes of the children that we knew and asked the moms and grandmas, what can we do to help you guys? And they all said education. So that's our focus.
Yeah.
We do shoes, uniforms, and school fees now for over 100 kids in the village. And we go back and they're like part of our family now. So, but we also just try to have a message of like, you know, get involved in your own community and give back and do something for others, you know, because that's what's so life-giving to us.
So, yeah, see, I have to stand up. She's bouncing the baby along as she's speaking, and Rhea is singing along about this point of education. What is the name of the nonprofit?
The nonprofit is called Journey for Youth. It's Journey, the number 4, and then Youth. And I guess I came up with the idea maybe 2004, 2005, just with the desire to want to use my work, whatever work it was. Back then wasn't pursuing music full time, but I wanted to use my work to try to make this world at least a better place in some way, shape, or form. As I began pursuing music full time, you know, I still tried to do different projects with Journey for Youth. Like a trip to New Orleans post Katrina. Kate and I were doing long distance at the time, you know, so it wasn't until 2009 when Katie and I came together and we did this, like she was saying, this backpacking trip, and just in 2009, that's when we decided we were gonna kind of join forces together. We're gonna do this together, and we're gonna use our concerts and the platform to be able to of singing at shows to advocate for education and clean water.
Sure. So as a forged team, then let's hear what this shows up like in your music, shall we? Are you going to play us a song?
Yeah, I can do a song.
We'll talk a little bit more about the many places you've been, 49 states, 36 countries. Amazing.
Yeah, really, that's the beautiful thing about music is you can do it anywhere, practically. So cool. This is a song that I wrote called Be Set Free. It's a song that's not necessarily about our volunteer work in Kenya, but it's about another volunteering trip that we took to Greece and Turkey, where we worked with Syrian refugees, people displaced from war from Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. So this song is specifically about, I guess, learned a little bit through my nonprofit about the importance of serving humanity, all humanity, regardless of their color, skin, their sexuality, what they believe in spiritually. You know, we have a duty to look after each other, and that's what this song is about, is not letting anything come before our humanity towards one another. It's called Be Set Free. When I hear his name like I hear the call, I hear the voice inside us all, comforts all, regardless of their faith. When I walk that road 1,000,000 miles, seen troubled faces like battle scars, pierce your soul like a dagger through the heart. When I don't do nothing, yeah, nothing at all, I don't do nothing about the fall. I can't do nothing if I don't start loving the day. When it's something that we can do, something that we should do, something that'll move to hold on to, something that'll give it just a little bit of hope today. So you gotta go, be set free of all the burden and all of your iniquity. So you gotta go, be set free of all the things this world told you that you should be. So you gotta go, be set free, my child. Give all your worry to the great big mystery. Mystery. When a human and you, when a human and me, we all come together for a family. What affects you also affects me. When sometimes life ain't fair, it take a conversation to clear the air and focus not on politics in place. So all got a chance to make a choice. We all come together for a silent voice who disappeared because of censorship. Well, when the time is now to make history, take back the power from the power to be the change that we'll always to see. Yeah. So you gotta go, be set free. Yeah. For the burden and all of your iniquity, child. Yeah. You gotta go, be set free, my child. Give all your worry to the great big mystery. Mystery, oh yeah.
Setting some color tone for this Friday afternoon. Brian and Katie Ernst and daughter Rhea, who's hanging just like a sundrop right in the room, wearing a little yellow onesie and cheeks for miles.
Cheeks for weeks.
Cheeks for weeks. So it sort of all forged itself in the cradle of Civ in Kenya, doing some works that really sort of set your path for helping cultivate education and everything that kind of enlightens and illuminates. Shedding more light than heat is what I'm picking up here. I also am remembering when we spoke before you came to Moab about your work at Standing Rock and showing up in these places that are hurting for certain. What do you want to? Do you want to say a little something besides the fact that you're playing at Woody's Friday and Saturday? You know?
Yeah, playing at Woody's. Really excited to play at Woody's. It's been, I think the last time we were here was with Talia Keys. I was opening up for her band Marinade.
Yes.
That would have been our tour of 2011's.
Did you come into the studio at this time?
I did come into the studio. I think I was a cameraman. Or maybe I played a didgeridoo or something with this. I can't remember what I did.
Well, I was blown away because I knew of Talia, but standing right by her and having her just like, you know, be her with that voice, it was an electrifying experience.
She's
amazing.
amazing.
Really strong.
Very
and
amazing.
What a great outfit and a sort of regional and global community artists are that want to speak up for love and beauty.
Yeah. There's a lot of artists have been carrying the torch before us, and you know, as the you know, some of the flame carriers and the fire keepers from the various social change movements of the past, you know, they've carried that torch for the artists today, right now, and not just the artists, but all people with all voices have an opportunity, you know, to carry on that torch of continuing to make change in a good way, in a positive way that helps other people, you know.
Well, you've been all around the world, and you could say that surf's up all over the world, isn't it? I mean, there's
I think so.
Another way to put it, hell's a poppin' is the way some people put it. There's a lot going down.
There is.
So I don't know how you just make your point for education mostly. That's how you've grounded it back as the main point.
when terms, yes, I do think education on a lot of fronts. With our work specifically with Journey for Youth in Kenya, it's educating the youth. Obviously, because in Kenya, education isn't a right. You have to pay. It's to have an education really allows you to further your goals. But our opinion is that education is one of the many. Education is one investment that you can make into somebody or you make into yourself that is one of the most powerful investments that you can make, and education is power. So, but also in terms of not just your basic education that you get through school, but also educating ourselves through not only just our history. It's important for us to learn our history so that it doesn't happen again. Educating our ways on various methods to further the various causes that we're all passionate about, and there's plenty of ways to do that, and trying to study some of I have some of my favorites, like Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela, Gene Sharp, who was a science philosopher on nonviolence and studies. There's a lot of different things. So all that education obviously doesn't stop when we become adults.
No, all of the whole world seems to be a school, as far
Absolutely.
as I can tell,
Yes,
as a humble learner, and apparently a rather slow one. So we're glad for all the chances that we have. It is an urgent time, though, to use the light that we do have for one another. I'm wondering if you have another song that you want to. You just did the title cut of a new release. It looks like it's the 7th one you've done. That's some life.
Yeah.
That's some water.
It's a labor of love for sure.
So Be Set Free is the new one. You've been touring for, a while now. Again, Journey for Youth is the nonprofit. What do you want to sing?
I'm gonna play another song called "The Refugee." It's another song that I wrote about our experience working and volunteering with a refugee camp.
Was it in Syria?
It wasn't not in Syria. The refugee camp that we work with is Moria Refugee Camp, which is in Greece. It's on the outside one of the Greek islands in the Aegean Sea, which is about 10 miles from from Turkey. And so basically people who are fleeing from Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria would take a series of human traffickers and various ways to go across Turkey. And then they would go, since they can't just show up at Europe's doorstep on land with safe passage, being like, hey, we're fleeing war in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. Europe was like, no, you can't come. You have to go to the ocean. And so
sink.
And basically sink. There has been thousands and thousands. We dug some of those graves with some of the nonprofits for people who are unidentified, who drowned in the ocean, who should not have to go and do that.
It's a humanitarian crisis.
To seek, so that their children doesn't have to live in a war zone, So this song, "The Refugee," is a song. It's about that, and it's about just being someone culturally. I come from very different culture than the people in the Middle East. Yet, through real life experience and relationships, I was able to see how much in common we have, and also more importantly how important it is for us who are privileged enough, like my friends who are from Syria, who had to go on those boats and risk their lives. I didn't have to go and take that boat because of my passport. I could take a ferry for 12 euro because of my passport. You know what I mean? I didn't think that was right. I didn't think it was moral. So that's one of the reasons why I incorporate these experiences into my music, to try to raise the awareness that, listen, it is, I believe, morally important that people have a right to safe passage when they're fleeing war. And I think one thing I was also really especially proud to say that, because sometimes some audience, I try to be very gracious and I want to do it in a way that's compelling, that makes people think. And I obviously, thinking about here in Utah, which there's a large Mormon community here, I also think about the Mormon heritage. They were seeking refuge here, right?
We are all pilgrims.
We are all pilgrims, yes.
Let's
do a song.
Let's hear the song.
I'll do a song. Thank you.
Perfect.
Every single man willing to try to walk that mile, deserve respect, deserve a smile. Judge not unless thou be judged. Seeing refugee just need some love. Come from a land that we cannot fathom. Atrocity you can't imagine. Forced to leave like an exodus. Clothes on the back and like most of us. Well, how would you feel if you're in their shoes? Called terrorists on the worldwide news. KKK don't reflect the Christian. Well, ISIS don't reflect the Muslim. It's a simple fact. Open up your mind. Traveled overseas and you see their kind. See our faith is shouting out waves. Up to us to return the favor when love is past the border when love sees no color when love. It's from the mother when love for the sister when love for the brother when love. And past the border when love it sees no color when love. It's from the mother when love for the sister when love for the brother my soul, yeah. When freedom of choice is the freedom to choose. But don't do man unless you walk his shoes. A war-torn region that call us home. Money that invested in what we're told. Same country that armed a rebel. I turn the back streets of live when it makes me wonder what it is they're after. A prophet from the war disaster when it's up to us to pray for peace. Send our love to the Middle East. Forget about the puppets in the quest to divide us. Focusing on love, things that unite us. One secret refugee, what we're told. Brothers and sisters, both young and old, give anything you have, give anything you can. All refugees searching for our land to win love. Pass the border when love see no color when love. It's from the mother when love for the sister when love for the brother when love. Pass the border when love see no color when love. From the mother when love for the sister when love for the brother my soul. Come and rescue them from the gates of hell. Save their ships from the ocean's swell. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Find some shelter, find some rest. I'm gonna pray for peace and unity. Pray for the Syrian refugee. Pray for peace and unity. Pray for the Syrian refugee. When love pass the border when love see no color when love. From the mother when love for the sister when love for the brother my soul, yeah. Yeah. Oh no, my soul, yeah. Oh no. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. Wonderful to have you come.
Thank you very much.
The wilds of Cincy to lay down your soul for the airwaves of the people here in the beautiful desert country. Blessings on you and your family.
Yes, thank you.
And on Rhea and on a world that can support safe, curious growth, you know?
Yeah.
Makes it safe to learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It takes a village. Thank you for helping us
Thank
get
you
the
so
message
much.
out.
Journeyforyouth.org.
That's it.
I'll assume a 501c3 and be set free tonight at Woody's and tomorrow at Woody's.
9 o'clock both nights.
Sweet. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Christy.
Yeah.
Take care.
It's 128 on 123, and I want to give some love out to Dr. John. You know, you guys were talking a little bit about